Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Rob Baer. Joining me tonight is my partner in crime, Kenny Boucher. What's up, dog?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
So Wyatt's returning some videotapes tonight, but he assures us that he will be with us next week.
Yep, everything went well. He's healing. He's feeling better.
He just sent us a message on the Facebook.
He said he can't be here tonight.
I believe his actual statement was, quote, "I'm missing all this juicy gossip." I don't know how gossipy it is. It's pretty factual at this point.
Yeah.
So no joke. The only joke today is what's been happening with Games Workshop. Unfortunately, I'm gonna try. I'm a little off tonight. I want to try to present everything that's going down as factual as possible. It's factual and unbiased. Well, obviously factual, but as unbiased as possible. Because I think it's important that everybody kind of makes a determination for themselves. But I do want to preface all this with the fact that, there's been a lot of drama in gaming, whether it's tabletop, like RPG gaming, or, wargaming in general as of late. And I just want to say that, in this day and age, margins are razor thin for game stores. And everything has a negative context or connotation to it, depending on how you let it affect you. Right. So, all these companies are only looking out for themselves, whether it's Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro, or Games Workshop. They're doing more and more direct to consumer sales in their attempt to make as much money per quarter for their investors as possible and continue the gravy train for everybody involved. So really what it boils down to for us as hobbyists is to get as much enjoyment as possible and keep as much cash in our pockets as possible and just to enjoy ourselves. Because if you get all bent out of shape and butthurt about the rumors and all the things, you're just not going to have a good time. And I gotta be honest with you, the past 2 years of information and seeing all these things go down has affected my attitude and my outlook on the tabletop gaming hobby. And I try to do as much as I personally can to help the independent companies that don't behave in this manner eke out a living and hopefully contribute to everybody's enjoyment of the hobby in general. But the stuff I want to talk about tonight in the news section is it's disturbing to me to see these trends and to see what's happening. And I think this was the single worst day for the hobby, in my opinion, that I've ever experienced. Just because it's depending on how you look at the information I'm going to present, you can make certain assumptions. And one of those assumptions could be, proof of how Games Workshop, where their intentions actually are and where their actual behaviors are, and perhaps a smoking gun. And that's not for me to tell you. I'm just going to tell you the information and you can decide for yourself. And that's really what it's all about, because I don't want to spoon feed anybody anything. I want to just tell you what's happening and let y'all decide, because that I think is very important. Now, once you do decide, and once you do, it's very clear, given how things went down with the D&D open creative license with Wizards, why they retracted and backpedaled and pulled back the common license, because so many people unsubscribed from D&D Beyond that it affected them financially. And they saw, just the petition alone was like 70,000 people just alone, right? So now keep in mind that Games Workshop published numbers about Warhammer Plus in their latest financial report. And one of the things they said was that they had roughly, I think at the time, 115,000 subscribers to this service. Everybody's paying $6 a month, or, you paid your yearly rate, which is slightly discounted. And that the costs, they published the costs, and we did an article on it. I don't remember them right off the top of my head. I believe they said they spent, I want to say, and I'm spitballing because I don't have the information in front of me, maybe £3 million.
Yeah, I think they said they spent 2 and now they've made 3.
Yeah, and their profits were roughly, I forget exactly, but enough that if a certain number of people unsubscribed from the platform, it would maybe look poorly in their financials that are coming out in June, and it would potentially force their hand to stop doing whatever they're doing. And I think that's an important thing for you to decide if you're a subscriber of Warhammer Plus and you don't like the information I'm about to present and it affects you. So first off, Games Workshop announced today that there would be price increases on about the same time they did last year, which is, I looked through the list. There's about 1,600 price increases.
Tight.
From what I saw, what's that?
Seems like a lot.
It is not as many as last year. I believe it was 30, in excess of 3,000 last year. I want to say 3,300, but I might be slightly off. I just got this information about an hour ago. I haven't fully processed it. But on the stuff that matters, it seems like, from what I'm seeing here, we're talking about a 15% increase, for instance, on something like a Land Raider went from $110 to $130 US. Or we'll just say a lot of the $60 kits, like, for instance, let me pull up the Primaris stuff here. All right, so here's a lot of the Primaris stuff. A lot of the Primaris kits that were previously $60 are now $70. So, for instance, your Intercessor Squad is now $70. Redemptor Dreadnought was previously $70. Now it's $85. Repulsor Tank, previously $85, now $100. Combat Patrols, previously $150, are now $180. I didn't look at the Vanguard, but I think the Vanguard got a stealth increase up to 140. So these are significant price increases. These are not the average 6%.
Yeah,
as far as I can tell.
It's not that inflation adjustment of 6%. Yeah.
They said it was 6%, but here's the point. Here's the point I want to make, that on these price increases. Last year at this time, they raised prices on 3,300 items. That sales was on last year's financials, because remember, their financials are done in the summer, in June, right? So think about that. 2020, the early 2022, late 2021 was their fiscal year at that time. Now, yeah, there was a lot of supply chain issues still, right? But it wasn't like that whole, like, hey, we're going into a recession sort of deal, right? It was kind of coming out of supply chain, but kind of not. It was kind of when people were raising prices, just maybe because they could, but because they had issues with supply chain. Now we're seeing across the board on a macro, a lot of people are just raising prices because they have to now, just to keep up. And that, I think, is where Games Workshop's at, is they're raising prices because they literally have to keep up. Now, did they have to raise them this much? I don't know. I don't. If you look at their financials, they're stagnant. They were stagnant with those price increases last year, and these below those price increases are just
if you look at their financials at face value, they don't have to raise their prices. They're doing fine.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? If you take it,
they are profiting and paying their bills and still putting money away. Yeah. Yes.
If you take it super face value,
in theory, you could make that argument, I suppose, looking at their financials, that they did not need to do a 15% increase on key items.
But you can read between the lines of those baked numbers. Like,
A lot of times
it's an excessive price increase. There's no way around it. Like going from $60 to $70 or to $70, that's excessive as fuck.
I mean, that's like 14%.
That's insane. Like no, it's excessive. So GW has raised their prices on over 1,000 things. That is definitely overlaps with the other 3,000 things they did last year, with an average increase of over 15%, which if you look at their numbers on face value, doesn't make sense in one way, but does make sense in another way. So what's the conclusion there, Rob?
I mean, it's hard to say what the conclusion is.
Like that gets your blood boiling. Yeah, you took your blood pressure pills, right?
Yes.
I saw you take them. I know you did. Is it your question?
You literally, yeah. I was like, I literally keep them here on my desk.
Why so much? Like, what's the point of that? Like what?
Well, I mean, ultimately, there's no way to know why. Because we're not them, but you know, they obviously have goals. You can glean a lot of stuff from their financials, and it's all like super boring stuff that, you know, I don't think is worth talking about. But the stuff I did want to talk about, and I'm trying to figure out the formula for doing averages, because I want to find.
So Tony says it's 6% in the UK. So is it a 6% inflation adjustment in the UK, but because of how they like to fuck other people up, that turns into a insane 15% for us, even though we have like big ass like warehouses and shit out here? Just throw this shit in, and it's not like.
So what I mean, I'll read it to you here in a second. You know, it's posted on their site what they said today. They said on most stuff, the average would be 6%. Now, keep in mind, they just raised costs, not the prices. They raised costs to retailers in the UK at Christmas time. So keep that in mind, too, because, okay, the average is 11 of all the price increases, according to the spreadsheet that I have. The average increase is 10.1%. So they're talking UK price. So they're in the UK's 6%. For us, average 11% or 10%. The example they did give in Warhammer Community was a Sisters of Battle squad going from like 36 to 30 pounds to 36 pounds, and that's an issue too. So it might be in pounds. Yeah, it says the average change for plastic cakes is about 6%. An example of what you can expect: a Battle Sister squad goes for up one pound, $1.50 pound, from 36 pounds to 37.50 pounds. I just mixed currencies there. I apologize, but you get what I'm saying. So they gave an example in Great Britain pounds. Now, keep in mind that the pound versus dollar is pretty close to par right now. So like what
we're talking about here is the justification of shipping, right? Because they don't make it here, right? They just store it here.
Yeah, so they float it over and they arbitrage it and all that.
If for them it's an average 6%, but for us it's an average of 10%, they're saying that it costs 4% more to sell to America based on their spreadsheet, their secret spreadsheets, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. Do you buy that, or does that sound realistic? I don't know anything about shipping, so like, do you think 4% on average makes sense?
I'm not a logi, so I couldn't tell you what that is, but I could tell you if you give examples and you say, if you make a statement on your site and you say the average change for plastic kits is about 6%, and then you give an example in Great Britain pounds on a global site, and you don't make any consideration to.
Well, because they don't want people to look too hard, because they.
Oh, excuse me. They have an asterisk and it says or local equivalent.
Because the thing is, we all know the numbers don't reflect exchange rate directly. We all know this. Like our Australian brothers know this more.
Right. Yeah. It's arbitrage.
Yeah, it's arbitrage, as we learned from Arthur.
Yes. Thank you, Arthur.
It's not. It's never been a direct currency exchange. It's been whatever they can get away with. So we've established that that's fine. I'm not that mad at us paying 4% more on average. What I'm mad about is the fact that there is a fucking another price hike at all. You know, when based on their own financials, everything seems fine, quote unquote. And like, what's the justification for this? Other than just, like you said, the getting more money. So thus proving supporting the community is only goes as far as required to sell models to that community. And they will constantly redefine that line over and over again on what they can get away with there. And so though that's a business's job is to get paid and deliver on a goods and service, which they do, I do feel taken advantage of as a community member, you know, that I feel like you don't really care about me the same way you say you care about me is the thing I'm upset about.
Yeah, it's very, you know, a lot of stores, and I had tons of chats going open today. I had like 20 chats going open at once about this whole thing. And it wasn't just because of the price hikes. There's some other stuff that we're about to talk about too that went down today. It's a little disturbing for a lot of retailers. So it's and they're all chiming in because everybody got the sheet and now they're all pissed off. And I have so many windows open right now. It's ridiculous. So the thing I wanted, and we're going to talk about it. So yes, prices are going up. Did it have to be 10%? I don't know. I'm not Games Workshop, but I can tell you right now, and a lot of the Primera stuff never went up from its initial price drop when it came out in 2017. The Primera stuff's always been $60.
So you mean there's actually things in there that never got a price increase?
Yeah, the Primaris has always been $60 for the squad.
So this is the Primera's first price increase.
On a lot of it, yeah, and then some of it is newer. You know, like the hobos.
Yeah. Okay, that's not as bad. I'd rather there not be any price increases, but I acknowledge that that's not reality. Continue.
So, you know, I can't tell you why. I can only tell you that that this is the reality. So, Kenny, pretend you're a store owner. Let's role play.
Okay.
I'm going to be GW.
Yo, I need to buy some new Primaris kits and I got to make a minimum order. What's up, dog? What's the prices?
Right. So, yeah, you're probably going to want to get an order in because these price hikes go into effect in March 6th.
So if I get my order in right now, I don't. That doesn't reflect the price hikes.
Right. So you could make an order right now. You go ahead and make that order.
Okay. I'm gonna want extra. So I'm gonna double up on what I normally order. Triple.
Perfect.
Maybe. Triple. Let me go take a loan out. Quadruple.
Absolutely. That is a great idea, dude. We're gonna get working on that for you. Oh, by the way, the warehouse right now, currently, we're about 2 to 3 weeks behind, dog. And everybody's about to order triple.
Wait, that's before the triple orders?
Yeah, that's before today.
That's upsetting to hear, but I really have no choice. I'm going to have to move forward with this purchase.
Oh, by the way, you're going to have to pay us. You're going to have to pay us up front for what you want. But there's no guarantee that we'll have it when we go to pick it.
But then you'll give me my money back, right?
Oh, yeah, in a couple weeks.
Okay. Again, I don't like this, but I have no choice.
Seems pretty shitty, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's super shitty.
And that's exactly what's happening right now.
Yeah, it kills the LGS, man. Again, I'm mad because GW clearly doesn't care about me as much as they pretend to.
Speaking of which, let's talk about what really upset everybody earlier today.
Okay.
All right. So, remember last week when they made these a new battle force for Chaos and the boarding patrol box? I might have talked about it where I was like, hey, they got this new box coming out with the berserkers or with all the world eaters, but it was capped. They called stores last second. They said, hey, this shit's capped. You can only get 2 of one of them and 1 of the other. I forget which was which.
Yeah, they've been doing that. What's up? So what happened?
But why? But why would Dude, there's no supply chain issues. There's no COVID no more. There's no
want to sell
lockdowns
most of
here
them
in
on
the
their
States.
website, right?
What?
They want to sell more of them on their website, right?
How many of the things that they allocated to stores, the Balfour's Battlefleet box, the Boarding Patrol for Space Marines box, and the World Eaters dice, do you think sold out on their website over the weekend?
I mean, I'm right. Just say I'm right.
Just answer my question first.
I don't fucking know the answer to your question.
None of them sold out, Kenny. Not a single one.
So
and here's the thing.
So by trying to force more sales back to the website, it didn't even work.
So today, when everybody got their phone calls,
it's uncapped. The allocation's uncapped.
So Kenny, hey, you want to put an order in for this stuff?
You said they were capped, dog. You said you were out, limited.
But hey, I got it now. You want it?
Oh, where'd you find those motherfuckers? First off.
Oh yeah, we found it in the warehouse.
Oh, okay, just like laying around just for me.
Just for you, man. You want to order it?
Yeah, definitely. Because I definitely sold the ones I already had.
So cool. Check it out. So it's not going to count as a new release order. So it's not going to come next week. We're going to put this in as a restock order. So it's going to go on the queue with all the other restocks that we're already 2 to 3 weeks behind on.
Again, I don't like this, but I feel like I have no choice.
Oh, hey, guess what? I got more good news.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. So, you know, all that Kill Team stuff, like, I don't know, the Casterkin single box that everybody wants because they're $100 on eBay, if you can even find them. You probably want to order like, I don't know, everybody wants
I need about 50 of those, though. Let's go.
Yeah, that sounds right. Everybody at your store probably wants them because, well, they're $100. Nobody wants to pay $100 for them on eBay. Yeah, you're capped at 2.
Again, I hate this, but yeah, I guess I'll take 2.
All right. New release order. You'll at least have it this week or next weekend.
Hopefully I can pay my rent with that profit.
From 2 boxes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough. It's hard out there for an LGS right now, for a local game store owner right now. That's like I said, again, to reiterate, that's the thing I don't like, is that the community needs the local game store, not the GW shit stores. Okay, we need the local game stores. That's what built this community. And turning your back on that community, that's harsh. They're not turning their back on the community. They're making it continuously harder and harder for that community. And they're constantly like, it's almost like they're trying to do this balancing act where it's like, we want more and more profits for profit reasons and business reasons. But we also do acknowledge that these game stores like are one of our biggest avenues for acquiring customers. So like, it's like they keep just like, it's like they're watering down the wine. And one day, and like, how much can we do before it's not wine anymore? And like, they can't even serve it, you know, like, it's like, I feel like they're aware of this phenomenon and they're still doing it and they can't stop. And eventually it will reach critical mass and you will no longer have a community that has a physical presence.
I agree with you. So just to reiterate, all the Kill Team single box sets this week are capped at 2 or 3. I don't even know at this point. It doesn't matter. The starter set, the Arbites and Dark Eldar box that everybody's like, oh shit, Arbites, those are capped at 2 or 3. I forget which. All the Warcry stuff, 2 or 3 for the starters, 2 or 3 for the single sets. But here's the thing. Just like we saw with this week, where all of a sudden the Battlefleet Battle Force and the Boarding Patrol box was all of a sudden available to stores. That could happen next week. So if you can and you don't need it right now, just give it a week and see if your local game store will get it for you, in the quantities you need. Because 2 boxes is not, gonna satiate any game store.
Kara Quinn makes a great point. I want to interject in here. I love this. It's a serious question. Local stores used to, this is true, minimum orders, used to have to buy a giant wall of shit, and you couldn't even curate it. They were like, this is what we will sell you. This is what our spreadsheet says you have to buy. And even if you knew better, a giant wall of shit that you would never sell. That is a fact. Not now.
Yep.
So is this actually a worse business model for stores? My quick answer to that would be, KR Quinn, like obviously not having to buy bullshit you don't want is not worse, right? What is worse is that Games Workshop in 40K is at an all-time popularity level. And you can't get in for the first time. You can't actually get that wall of shit that actually would sell. That's the problem. Like back in the old days, this shit was barely being played, dude. Come on. We'd go to like a grand tournament run by Games Workshop of 42 people. You know what I mean? Like this is the all-time popularity. This is that time. This is that fucking moment when you actually can make that money and they're not letting you buy those boxes. But, seem accurate, Rob?
Agreed. Like, I just want to point out there's not a huge supply chain issue. There's not, COVID didn't happen again. The warehouses aren't locked down. You ask yourself, like, why is this happening?
It's that balance. It's because it's like you said, it's a business, man. They need more and more profits here. And they're just skimming it little by little. So we don't notice, man. Like, it's like that frog in the pot. You know what I mean? And they're aware of that. They know they're fucking local game stores and they know they shouldn't. They're not stupid. They know that. They know that local game stores and independent retailers are very fucking important to their marketing. They know this. And they don't, and they're like, but we have to fuck them because they continuously generate profits from nothing. And we can't fuck them all at once because then we don't have them anymore. So it's like little by little, man. It's not because of supply chains, none of that shit. It's because they're trying 400 schemes at once. You know, we're going to sell more on the website for more profits. We're going to cap things for more profits. We're going to do this for more profits. Okay, now sell it back to them because we didn't sell everything on their website for more profits. Like, it's not because there's a supply chain issue. It's literally for money. As everything, which is what you can expect from a company at all times. I just wish GW was a little bit more upfront with that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was reading something.
No,
yeah, it's people are calling me. It's wild.
It's wild.
So, all right. So there's that. So that all went down today. We're basically, a lot of game store owners were like,
it's crippling game store owners.
I can't, like, what do I do? Like this, I can sell this shit. I just need it, but I can't get it. And if I order it,
and then it's going to go up in price
weeks.
And it's going to take too long. Like, bro, here's the problem. It's like we have this recession, right? So like everything costs more, meaning everyone has less money, right? So so like raising prices on that, like every step up the ladder doesn't do anything. It just means you don't sell anything twice as often. You know what I mean? Like, so dealing with a price hike, having to hike their prices up, already having to interact with customers that they have less money because everything else in their life fucking costs more. This is a continuously losing proposition for these local game stores. And they can't even get the shit in the moment they need it when they know these people have the money to spend on it. Because they plan to spend that money today. So.
And that's the thing, there's the bell curve of new release. When the shit comes out, that's when you sell the most units of it.
And then it slowly
trickle. If you don't have it, there's going to be a new shiny the next week that people are going to want. And that's why, I'm just like, hey, if you can wait and get it from your game store the next week when it might be available to them in the quantities they want, it would. Obviously, it didn't happen last week because they didn't sell what they thought they were going to sell if they played the shell game with the merchandise and they put it on their site and they tried to sell it themselves on their site. It didn't work. It didn't sell out. It had plenty of units left over to get the stores. And it could be because, the consumer base is becoming a lot more educated about these games that Games Workshop's playing with their merchandise. So imagine you're a game store and this is your morning conversation with Games Workshop. these two things. Okay, I'm just putting money out and I don't know when I'm going to get it back. Rent's due, end of the month. There's 28 days in this month. It's going to be slow because dudes are spending money on their ladies or their significant others because it's Valentine's Day. Come middle of the month, people are in between tax season. It's a weird layout of the calendar and paydays. It's going to be a rough month for a lot of game stores in February. And then on top of that, they're going to have to lay out a bunch of cash to get this merchandise. And then they just found out about all these price increases that they can save 10, 15% if they put out a bunch of money right now.
It's looking a lot like they're going to have to take out an emergency loan or a fucking second mortgage, dude.
Yep. So there's a lot. Game stores got hit with like a 1-2 punch today. And, you got to remember, a lot of these folks are very, very motivated, very self-start, independent people that are out there serving their communities in a lot of cases. Yeah, there's some shit game stores. I get that, but there's some really good ones too. And this is just from one retailer. Like they're getting stuff like this from Wizards. They're getting,
you used to be able to fall back on some of the other companies, and that's quickly not becoming the case as we enter the era of everyone's a mega corporation.
And that's definitely evident with Asmodee as well, and some of the stuff they're pulling right now on retailers. So, for instance, you have to spend $500 to restock.
So,
with Asmodee.
To bring us back on topic, the conclusion of this story remains the same as it has been since day one from Rob, which is buy from your local game store.
If you value that local game store,
it's a call to action. If and it's not even about if you value. You need to acknowledge that you don't have a hobby without the existence of physical brick and mortar stores. That's the physical infrastructure of this community, especially in this nation. You are being strongly urged, as Rob would say, to vote with your hobby dollars. And we're not saying don't buy 40K stuff. That's insane. We want 40K stuff. Just buy it from these people. Don't fall for the hype. Don't go to the online sales. You don't need it on release day. You fucking don't. Nothing's going to change. Right? They lie about all these numbers. I never bought Indominus on release. I never bought any of that shit because my game store didn't have it. Simple as that. Just be patient. Wait. Don't fall for the hype. Buy it from your local game store when they have it. And if they need a deposit, maybe even offer, anything that helps. Like, hey, let me reserve that box. Here's 50% up front. How's that? Anything. Those are the methods. That's the call to action. That's how you vote with your hobby dollars. And then, like Rob referenced earlier, you start doing that enough, GW has to change. Just like with the app analogy. You do that enough, they have to put the money in the right place. And so this doesn't work, if you're just like, but I really fucking want this box, even though I don't really fucking need this box. I'm not even going to open it or paint it for like 7 years. You don't need it that day. Get it from the local game store. Straight call to action. That's how you vote with your hobby dollars. If we all do that, it'll change. It changes the game.
And I think this is going to be a wake-up call for a lot of game stores too, to realize that they need to monetize their space as far as some sort of subscription method, charging to play on the tables, assuming they have nice tables, they take care of their stuff, have dope terrain, because the era of just relying on people to come in to buy a few things from your game store while they play is kind of over. And if it isn't over, the writing's on the wall. And I think a lot of folks, you're going to see that over the next couple of years, is a lot of game stores are going to move towards a subscription method where, of various things, various levels, various benefits.
Yeah. Gym membership.
Basically a gym membership. Yeah. Because otherwise game stores just simply aren't going to be able to survive by by having a place for you to play, at least here in the States. So please keep that in mind. And I'm not saying that, every game store out there is the best and you have to support your local game store.
Yeah, you might not even have a local game store.
Or it might suck. In which case, don't support it.
Disregard this message. It doesn't matter. Like, there's nothing, you've done enough. You're fine. But if there's a place you go and that's the staple of your community and that's the heartland of your fucking community and culture with this fucking wargaming thing, bro, just don't fall for the FOMO. You don't need it that day. It's not going to vanish from the planet. I promise you. None of this shit they've ever said that was limited, I was unable to get later at my game store. 100% success rate.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You always be able to get this stuff, y'all. Like, it might be, you might have to wait a month, whatever, but like, you'll get it. It's just like, how bad do you need it? And leading up to 10th edition, I don't know how much any of us need any of it to actually need it. So anyways, that was a big story. It was I could see where it was a very stressful day for a lot of game stores.
Yeah, Rob, that's part of Rob's job. Is like he interacts with humans in this scene to get a lot of information. He doesn't just speculate. So he talked to a lot of friends and a lot of contacts, and it was a shit day because they all said the same thing, and it looked real bad.
Well, it's not just that too, Kenny. Like, yeah, we have a lot of contacts. We pull a lot of stores. We talk to actually distributors, a lot of higher level stuff that you wouldn't even think of. But also, there's definitely a thing out there where if somebody is pissed off about something in the hobby, they will just straight message me. They'll be like, yo, this thing. And, in a lot of cases, like I gotta, track down the information, try to figure out more about it.
All I'm saying is
actionable.
That's why it's a stressful day for anyone who's wondering why Rob is, said that and led with that. It's because it's all the same stories coming in. That's his whole day today, is hearing about people worried about paying rent in February. Like how to stay in business one more month.
Yeah. So it's been stressful. All right. So there's that. That was kind of the big stuff. There will be, according to sources, more stuff. According to sources, and this is Thursday, so if you're hearing this, it might already be Friday. Official announcement might already be out there. There supposedly will be a big announcement tomorrow about some sort of GW qualifier series for their U.S. Open tournaments, maybe their worldwide tournaments. I don't have all the specifics on it quite yet.
But you will.
I do have 4 documents that I read through that venues and qualifying tournaments were required to sign and get back to them. So I know it's real, and I know it's coming. And there's some really interesting stuff in these 4 documents. So there's that.
So look for that big announcement tomorrow. And then wait for Rob's follow-up article on that shit.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much there will be other than, hey, there's this qualifier series, and here's the information on how you qualify as players, and to go play if you want or not. I mean, it's already. The U.S. Open Series is already shrunk by an event, but they added a big event over Warhammer Fest this May. So that's kind of understandable. But, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff and people speculating about, the budget and the things that are going on with the U.S. Open Series, which is really interesting. And, hey, if you like going to the U.S. Open Series and it's fun for you, buy the ticket, go do your thing. If not, if you think it's garbo and you don't want the restrictions to play your army there, then don't. That's what I prefaced this opening of the show with, is it's really just down to us as individuals to get the most out of the hobby now, because none of these entities, Games Workshop, Wizards of the Coast, etc., are our friends. All they want is our money. And we have to decide how much of our money we're going to give them for our happiness. And that's really just it, because at the end of the day, you still gotta be happy. You still gotta do something so you don't go nuts. So there's that. So just kind of keep all that in mind this weekend as you're bopping down a local game store that you might, and putting in some pre-orders and stuff, or maybe thinking about going to play in events. Because it's wild out there. And I think I think the real losers in all this is the folks that are the dedicated content creators for Games Workshop and have really kind of made their whole platform about getting the stuff early from GW, talking about GW, because I think they're going to get a lot of flack from people. Because they're going to be like, oh, this, hey, I got this Kill Team box and, oh, hey, look at this thing. And then, most people can't even fucking buy the thing. So like, how are you going to show off the thing if people can't buy the thing? That's just a feel badsy. And I'm not sure that's going to happen. I'm not sure what they're getting and stuff, but there has to be a level of coordination now through the influencer program at Games Workshop versus the, logistics over here, like what's going to actually go up for sale. Because these influencers might not know that this thing, these Castercan that everybody wants because they're $100.
Now it's controversial because they have a thing that three local game stores went out of business because they couldn't get. Right. In a crucial month in February. But yeah, no, there's a lot of coordination here. And GW, like I said, they're aware of all this. Like, they're not stupid. They know this balancing act. They know they're on this tightrope, dude. And it's shady as fuck right now. And I am definitely worried about my local game stores. And again, I reiterate, as a community, let's just try to buy from the game stores, guys. Resist the FOMO. We can actually change this. We can change this behavior from Games Workshop.
Agreed. So yeah, that was the big information. Look for a big announcement tomorrow from Games Workshop, supposedly according to sources, about some qualifier event. And we'll see what next week brings for the Warhammer hobby. But we do have some leaks, and I think it's kind of funny, and we wrote an editorial about this already, is that, GW hasn't officially acknowledged 10th edition is coming, right? We see the writing on the wall. We know they announced 9th edition at Warhammer Fest Online. It was like a week of previews in 2020. And then that was in May, followed up by the rollout of the Indomitus box, which you might remember didn't go the best. Also, 9th edition was pushed back a month. It was supposed to come out in June. It ended up coming out in July because of actual COVID shit, right? So there's that. So keep all that in mind. We know Fest is going to be this big, huge thing in the UK. So they're probably going to announce it then. There might be some teasers. We might see just like some shadowy stuff at Adepticon or something, but I don't expect a major announcement to be at Adepticon. But here's the thing. Like, all this writing is on the wall. GW has not officially said anything about 10th edition. But the first time they announced something about 10th edition, because remember, this happened with World Eaters. For example, we saw this big list of supposed points for the World Eaters, and there was just shit on there called Jackals, and people were like, "What the f is Jackals? Oh, this is fake news. This whole thing's fake." And people were like, "Somebody created this whole document, blah 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 blah." What's the first GW preview about World Eaters? Oh, hey, there's these things called Jackals. It immediately supported every single rumor that had come out to that point. So GW has to be super careful with all these leaks about 10th edition, what they say, because as soon as they say one thing and it confirms one of the things that's already been leaked, basically people are going to take all those rumors for fact at that point. And that's what, as we slide into the meat and potatoes section of the show here, basically, according to the rumors, 10th edition 40K seems to look a lot like the way Age of Sigmar plays.
Yeah. And these rumors, and as we always do this thing where we say like, oh, you remember, grain of salt rumors, nothing's real until it's real. But it's like been 99% real, dog. Like this. For like years now. Okay? Like straight up. It's nearly certain. And remember, we speculated on this back in the day with the first round of rumors where they said index reset 10th edition. And we're like, oof, that's going to be a rough pill for a lot of people to swallow. But as a gamer, I advocate for that. I think we should do that more often. I don't care about the books and the literature and all that shit. Like, I want the game to advance, move forward. I want new additions to the game, new balances. That's what I like. I like new seasonal updates, patches, hot fixes. I don't care how much work it is. It's a part-time job. I've acknowledged this. If I don't have enough hours in the day to go to my job, I have to quit, you know? And so this new round of rumors has got a lot of people on the internet triggered. Specifically, we'll just cut straight to the chase. The concept, we're jumping straight to the chase. The thing that's got a lot of people upset is the fact that it seems like in these rumors, there's not going to be a wound characteristic moving forward.
Toughness.
Sorry. Toughness characteristic.
Yeah, which is how that's one of the big things for Sigmar. And, you know, I want to just go ahead and take GW's side in this real quick.
It's the right way to do it. Straight up. I agree with you.
I think as a whole, sometimes, maybe a little bit, we as gamers are so passionate about our tabletop war game and our rules that we get hyper fixated on points like this, that we forget that we're looking at information, which might not even be true. It might be a rumor in a vacuum. And we don't know how the rest of this, you know, the actual edition might even play out if this part is even true, right? Because Sigmar is actually fun and balanced. And besides the double turn, which people don't like, which I could see not really doing so well in 40K, I think it's probably not a bad thing in general, but people are hyper fixated on this point. So I want to take, you know, I just want to be like, hey, you know, we see this stuff in a vacuum and sometimes we get super fixated on it. We kind of owe it to ourselves to not get all worked up about these things.
You can just have high blood pressure.
I straight up have high blood pressure medication right here on my desk.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, guys. If you want to have bad blood pressure and you want to be mad and spun out all the time and shit, go nuts. Have fun. You know what I'm saying? Or it doesn't fucking matter 99% of the time because it all works out. We get balances, we get updates. If something doesn't, the thing is, this is not one of those times. The rate of play matters. We're still a Warhammer 40K podcast. And our foundation is based on like game theory. We're moving, even if it's just partially. And we saw it in AOS. It's one of my most fascinating parts of AOS, in my opinion. By removing the fucking concept of this interaction, Rob. Okay, I'm rolling my dice. My power fists are strength 8. What's your toughness? Oh, yeah, I'm
how many times?
Okay, I need
how many
3s.
times do you do that?
That's like 50,000 times a game.
Yeah.
Bruh. That
The
whole
more
thing.
you have to.
Gone.
Yeah.
Gone. Power fist wound on 2s. Suck my dick. That's it. You know what I mean? Whatever it comes out to. And so I had to walk a couple people off a ledge earlier in tactics today with that. Cody was like, I'm going to quit. And I was like, but check this out. Think about how much better the game is. He's like, what do you mean? So right now, any unit pretty much with whatever it comes with a couple of fucking buffs can kill any unit in the game. 4 Sanguinary Guard can kill a Night Titan. Dudes with kind of big swords. We're the perfect thing to kill a fucking giant robot walker. You know what I mean? More effectively than these 4 melting gun shots. You know what I mean? Like, get the fuck out of here. It's crazy because we play buff 40K now because it's how it bloated out. Everything works that way. So if we go to this concept where the data slate, or the data sheet, has the weapon profiles, including the wound roll. Let's say lightning claws. Use that for an example. Lightning claws are obviously for fighting infantry. They wound on a 4. This is their rend. This is their AP characteristic. Their ability is they reroll the wound. Okay? Other things can still exist, like for example, Blood Angels, +1 to wound. Other things can still exist. Black Rune of Damnation, -1 to wound. So we can still go into a wound manipulator scenario off of that characteristic. But what I'd really like to see, Rob, and we've seen in AOS, is a Lightning Claw doesn't wound everything on a 4. It's for fucking infantry up. It wounds infantry on a 4 and rerolls its dice.
Well,
right?
there's no armor in AOS.
Right. So what you would have like a plasma gun has 2 profiles. You'd start to see that. You would see like this weapon is for fighting dudes. It doesn't wound on a 4 against vehicle keyword. It wounds on a 5, no ability reroll. So it's not it's not like this unit, slap all the buffs on it, can kill anything in the game. No. This unit kills these models. This unit kills those models. We're back to strategy again. We're back to tactics again. We're back to putting the right units in the right place again. A Power Fist, literally, when fighting against a vehicle, it would be like wounds on 2s, does this damage, and fucking hits on 2s. You can't miss. Gah! You can't miss. You can't fucking miss. But when fighting infantry, -1 to hit. You see what I'm saying? You start to see that you actually create a new layer of complexity in the game by removing 3 layers of complexity. Hey, Rob, my lightning claws. I'm coming at you strength 4. What's your time this? 3? 5. Okay, so I need 5s. Okay, thanks, man. 15 times a game. That's gone.
Yeah, every time.
4s, rerolls, 5 wounds, go.
Yep. And then I can pick up your dice, roll my saves.
Fucking love it. I hope that fucking is true. I think it is.
The other thing was the psychic and command phase combined, which is similar to what it is in Sigmar already. When you cast spells, some of them have like specific times that you can do them, but I think one of the things that still slows down the game is the psyche stuff. That used to be the longest phase in 6th edition or
the psychic phase has had to be looked at more times than anything else in the game because it is an important part of the lore, the canon, and it's been OP. It's been non-existent. Remember, there was a time when it was like a leadership text. Nobody cared. Nobody did psychic powers. They didn't do anything. They're stupid. There's a whole era where like psychic powers was just an afterthought. And then there was an era when they were really OP on leadership tests. And then they had to change it to this warp charge value shit. And it was done at this point. And then they had to change it to this and then that. The psychic phase moving to the command phase is a game changer. Because right now, you really don't have to do anything. You don't have to think about anything. You're like, you always have the chance to move, get in range, do this, do that. Turning it into a command phase sequencer, I love. Because you already have to do a bunch of stuff in the command phase, right? That you have to remember to do. This, that buff, score, whatever it is. But also, psychics. If it's the same thing, it's buff, go. I love that. Completely changes the flow and the distances.
One of the other things was smaller units in terrain is more relevant, which I don't think terrain's been wild in 9th.
It's the best. It's the best it's been since 4th.
That's true.
100%. But as gamers, we game, son. We exploit and we game. That's what we do. And we're going to break it until it can't be played anymore. And then it has to change. And that's where we're at right now. Like someone who's got the terrain scenario. Like remember Magic Boxes? Magic Boxes didn't, like that's not in the rules. Right. It's not like a terrain type. It's just, we gamed that. We made that. We forced that into existence.
Yep.
Literally
did.
So if the games are smaller, more skirmishy, still 2K armies, big shit, and the psychic phase is in the command phase, and you don't need to worry about toughness characteristics. The game actually can get more complex. More complex.
No, I think they're trying to. The aim is to speed up the game.
Yeah.
To 2-hour games.
And you're seeing it again. Remember I said this a while back, Rob? I was like, exploding dice. You're going to start seeing exploding dice instances going down and auto wounding characteristics going up. You're going to start seeing that as a trend because exploding dice means more dice rolls. Auto wounding means less. And so we're starting to see examples of that in the Khorne Codex and the World Leader Codex. Voten. And you're going to see this trend. Less dice rolls for the same result. Faster rate of play, more streamlined, lets you focus more on the individual squad tactics and right weapon for the right job. Not everything can kill everything at all fucking times. It's a great move forward. We already had the best edition of 40K ever, followed by the best edition of 40K ever. 8th edition was the first new edition of 40K since we went from Rogue Trader to second.
Yeah, basically.
Right? And then second to third. And then it was just the same game for the decade.
Basically since third, yeah.
And then now we're moving again. Now it's time. Let's go. Ninth was like 8.5. It was like the old stuff.
It really was.
No, it was. It's like if you
That's what it felt like.
It's the same. If you can play the codex from the previous edition in the new edition, it's the update. It's the patch. Mm-hmm. Now we're moving forward. Let's go. I don't want anyone to get too discouraged by this. If you just jumped in and you're hearing this and you're like, oh, it's going to index out. Third edition was an index. That's how we started third edition.
Literally. Remember Warwalkers had armor like 14 or something?
Bro, I wouldn't be in this hobby if it wasn't for the third edition index. You know what I mean? So don't get discouraged. Don't think this is like the last shit you're ever going to paint. The chase is endless, guys. Endless.
She's losing her shit over here.
Yeah, she is.
You see her?
I saw her in your lap earlier.
Yeah, she's just...
She's cute. She's cute kitty.
She can't be contained.
Here's my big concern, though, Rob. We have been baited before.
Masterfully.
Screamers, flamers, as you recall.
Yes.
Yeah, remember that time of our lives?
The White Dwarf Demons Index.
So here's the thing, guys. We're playing the final season of Warhammer 40K 9th edition, in my opinion, right now. Arc Element.
Yeah.
Go hard. Go nuts. It's fun as shit. But also acknowledge the fact that the final season's the most OP season. That's how this shit works. So all the free shit you're getting right now and like all these new things you're getting in your Space Marines kits, you need to understand that like when the book drops, first off, that shit ain't gonna be free. You're not gonna have the same 115 point Devastator squad with 4 grav cannons and a combi grav and a signal. You're not gonna have that. It's not gonna be the same thing. Secondly, the rumors of legend are circulating again. And you guys remember in 8th edition, they put a bunch of things in legends. Things they don't make anymore. Like right. if we give you a data sheet for it, but we don't make it, legends. It still exists in the game, but you don't play it in tournaments. They also made Primaris Marines at the same time, and we all speculated that they were going to phase out Firstborn Marines. To the point where Firstborn Marines were nearly unplayable. Remember, they were 1 wound trash models now, and everyone was forced to play Primaris Marines. There was a bunch of backlash from that. And so then GW finally gave us all our 2nd wound. And then Firstborn Marines came back. But since then, this is beginning 8th edition, we've all been kind of preparing for the inevitable conclusion that is Firstborn Marines will no longer exist. And the reason for that is GW has reached the critical final conclusion of the shape of a Space Marine, aesthetically and artistically, as a game designer. The modern Space Marine kit, that's it. That's the final conclusion. Go back and look. I have them. I have the Vanguard Vets, the OGs. They're trash. Like a modern Assault Marine, beautiful. But that's the limit. So what they wanted was a new Marine. They had to change the body style and type, but also they have to change the lore to account for that. The Rubicon, right? We got to cross the Rubicon, become a Primaris. They give us years to prepare for this. Years. And since then, we've gotten a huge swath of troop choice Primaris Marines that are like scout roles, close combat roles, shooting roles. We've got fast attack roles. We've got biker roles. They've been filling the line out, and we still get to play with our Firstborn, and they even buffed our Firstborn more than once. And now all these Firstborn motherfuckers are hyper buffed. This is the OP final season, guys. We'd all know that Assault Marine jump pack fucking intercessors are coming out. That's one of the final things we were missing. We all now know that they have Devastator equivalent intercessors coming out.
Yeah, that people are definitely have something to say about.
Yeah. So now that pretty much every force organization role is accounted for with excess spillover, okay? How much longer do Firstborn Marines actually have to live?
Well, they will, because there is heresy.
No. I'm talking 40K Vanguard veterans, 40K Wolfguard, fucking not 30K, dude.
It's
not the same thing.
Their days are definitely numbered, but remember, we're
because
on year
you
6.
you don't go to play 30K to play with a modern assault marine. That's not even what that game's about. They're going to be legends, guys. Here's the thing: they will be. They've given us years to prepare for this. Years.
We're on year 6 of Primaris.
Here's the thing. We're in the OP final season, Rob. Mm-hmm. Everything's free. Firstborns at a new height. New power levels are being unlocked. Well over 9,000 power levels across the board with fucking Firstborn Marines. And people are buying them up. Buying them off the shelves, buying them out of the warehouses. Dwindling that fucking inventory. Have fun, guys. It's the final season. It's OP. But that shit's going to be legends real fucking soon, guys. So be responsible financially. Don't go out there and buy like 3 units of Sky Claws, 3 units of Wolfguard with jump pack. Get them all, every single guy with a Kami Melta and a Melta, then 3 units of Long Fangs, all with grav cannons with a grav. Don't do it. Don't fucking do it. The writing's on the wall. Make some adjustments. Have fun. Pull out a couple boxes you already own. Update your army. Get some of that free 6 shit. I'm going to have 2 Devastator squads and my Blood Angels with free grav cannons, for sure. Just want that to be a public service announcement, though. That shit is going away. My entire Blood Angel army is going to vanish. I know it. All my land speeders, all my attack bikes, all my Vanguard vets, all that shit is going to be legends within 12 months of this statement. I know it to be true in my heart. Doesn't make me mad. I've had fucking billions of seconds of fucking entertainment and fun from them. You know, and I just want to recover that financial cost before I move on. And I just advocate for that, public service announcement. How do you feel about that, Rob?
I agree with you. Yep. So lots of new exciting stuff coming down the line. Just it'll be something different next week, and there'll be something different the week after. But ultimately, the writing, I think is definitely on the wall.
Yeah, but the thing is, have fun. It's the final OP season. Go nuts, man.
Yeah.
Go nuts. It's going to be so fun, dude. You know what? I built my Blood Angels. Here hatched on this show. I did the land speeders, did the attack bikes, played them once. Added more of this, a little bit more of that, played it. Added more of this, more of that, played it. Season changed, added some stuff, played it. New season's changing, I'm adding, played it. I have over 6,000 points of Blood Angels now, Rob. Just from building the core 2K, pulling the trigger, not being indecisive, and then just adding a unit here and there for various tournaments. I played Vegas teams, California teams, SoCal Open, Las Vegas Open. Okay? With my Blood Angels in this current, being modified along. So in only 4 major events, I went from 2,000 point army to a 6,000 point army. Painted, fully painted. So play the game. Don't be paralyzed by indecision. Don't be too hesitant to buy things even if you think they're going to go away in a year. Because in a very short amount of time, that's 6 games at each event, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
I got to play 6 high-level games 4 times with my boys. 12 hours a day, 40K, man. Memories I'll never forget. Worth it. Even if fucking half my army goes legends in a year. Doesn't matter. I'm going to be painting the new thing anyway. The new Primaris jump troops? Fuck yeah, I'm going to have those motherfuckers. The new Primaris fucking multi-launcher motherfuckers? I'm going to need like 20 of those guys. Get the fuck out of here. They look like they're using that weapon from the Fifth Element.
The weapons are definitely interesting looking.
See, a smart warrior would ask what the red button in the bottom does.
I don't think it's a button. I think it's a reticule. I don't know.
That's right. War Machine in chat. I want Primaris Vanguard. Yeah. Fuck Sanguinary Guard. In the garbage. The second I get fucking Rubicon fucking Primaris fucking Sanguinary Guard. Are you kidding me? I cannot wait for that. Give me the new hotness. Oh, they're straight dead to me. I want the new shit. Always. The new hot, fresh shit. You know? It is the 5th element gun. That's right, Imperial Sith. I need 20 of those motherfuckers. Like ASAP.
Yep.
I fucking love them. These motherfuckers remind me of Torak. Remember Torak?
The dinosaur hunter?
Yeah, remember that video game? N64?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
The gun animations were so wild in that game when you put your
that's
guns out.
right, yeah.
Like, it's like a squad of Torak dinosaur hunters.
Yeah, they're interesting.
Yeah. Someone in chat, Huskar said, Kenny, did you start drooling when you were talking about the new shit? Yeah, dude. I had to wipe the drool off my fucking chin, dude.
Yeah, you did.
Christian says, Kenny, cover your heart on. I can see it from here. Unfortunately, I know you're flattering me. You cannot see it from here. Sadly.
No, I think it's good to be upbeat about it because, again, if you get all negative and everything about, there's no point to being in the hobby.
What do you really enjoy? You enjoy building models, painting models, scheming lists, playing with your friends. That doesn't change just because because things change. That just means you got to go back to the fucking Beats Lab and fucking start all over again. Oh no, I hate hobbying. It's the worst. With the price hikes, that does suck, admittedly. But I know 99% of you motherfuckers listening to me right now have like 4 billion boxes in your closet right now.
Well, there you go. You start. Hey, all that shit's you're about to make 10% return on all of that stuff. That's higher than market average right now. Think about that for a minute.
Yeah. Open up a game.
You're like, no, don't do that.
Are you a store?
Everybody has a store in their closet. One of my
viewers and friends who hooked me up with my Assault Centurions, he basically has a GW store in his fucking closet. It's a problem. I was like, do you have this? He's like, hold on, let me check. 2 hours later, he's like, yeah, I got that. He got everything. He's only like one guy I know like that.
I mean, it's easy to do. It's easy to get carried away. And I think that's one of the reasons this hobby is so dope because it's super customizable. Like whatever you want to do, you can probably do. And I think it's easy to get a little caught up in things sometimes, but I think both of our PSAs were very good.
Speaking of which, so somebody's got some Devastator squads in their plastic pile of shame, and they're like basically a pseudo store. Hit me up on Facebook. I'm gonna need those.
The firstborn ones?
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. So I just recalculated everything, taking out the things that did not receive a price increase and re-average it all. And according to my Excel spreadsheet foo, the average price increase in US dollars is 15.5%.
Oof, way worse than we thought.
Yeah, all those things that didn't go up actually kind of messed up the average.
Oh, so it's not like quite what it looks like. It's statistics that also have some context.
Well, no, it was 10% when I averaged everything in the spreadsheet, but now the actual number of items, according to the information I have, that actually received an increase is 1,019 items as opposed to 1,600. So when you take out 600 zeros from your average, it makes it go up by like 5%.
Makes sense.
So it's that's like double market average on return. So everybody with that closet of power is doing good.
Yeah. Seriously, hit me up if you got those Devastators. Anyone.
Please. So yeah, I think we did a good one tonight. You want to take us out of here?
Oh, you
Kenny?
want me to take us out of here? Rob, take us out of here.
I was trying. So that's it for this one, y'all. Thank you so much for watching and listening wherever you may be consuming this content at. Hopefully we'll see you over on Twitch. Wyatt again is he's returning some videotapes, so he says he'll be back next week. So for exclusive content, early access videos, and more, head on over to thelongwar.net and become a veteran of the Long War today.